I sent them all to you. And then, what is it? If you have any other simplistic questions that people should know, you know what I mean? I'm trying to base this on people that's been here a year or more. I mean, you figure a year with the company, after with the union, blah, 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 you should know 90% of these questions.
You should.
Like they take trips to user parks and user parks and Philly games, right?
They haven't done basketball in a couple of years.
Yeah, they used to. Yeah. And a Christmas party, you can rent the hall, you can purchase union merchandise at the hall. A lot of people don't know this stuff. Hello everybody, how you doing? We're not on the air yet, but we are ready to go in a few minutes. Man down, how you doing?
Good morning, everybody. I got it.
All right.
I think I got it.
It's a good morning today in Philadelphia.
There we go. Now we cooking with grease now. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to WOM 92.9, giving you another edition of the 623 Lives Matter show on South Philadelphia Community Radio. Thank you guys for tuning in. Everybody that's in the car, going to work or coming from work, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Everybody that's streaming it from Facebook Live, thank you for watching us. But before we get into anything, Romeo, we had a few of our members had lost some loved ones, and we want to have a moment of silence for them and show some respect for their families. We had Kathy Tomaski. She works for Quality. She lost her aunt yesterday. Then we had our brother Tyrone Halliger. He lost his mother a couple of days ago. He works in the small sort. And then we have Karen Portia. She works for Brown Secondary. So we just want to take a moment of silence for them and their families. Let them know that we're with them, we stand with them in their moment of grief. Lean on your brothers and sisters here at 623. We all got to look out for each other. So at this moment, we're just going to take a few moments to pay our respects for our members that lost loved ones this week.
You go to Nick's grandma's house wearing this, wearing that?
All right, good people. Well, Romeo, the bylaw amendment has been approved and accepted.
This is a big thing. I mean, if you guys don't know, it's something that, Richard Hooker basically went about, researched, rewritten it, found out how to get it into the bylaws, how to properly do everything. Now, Richard Hooker is a local 623 member. Are you part of the e-board?
Nope.
No, he is not.
Just a regular member.
Just a regular member. Now, this is huge. It's huge on so many levels because, he took the time and did all this, and I'm sure you talked to a few people to get some little bit of help, and I mean that's fine because you want to make sure it's done right the first time.
Exactly.
Because you want it to go in the first time, and we are proud to say that it took one time.
Yep.
And it got approved. We got the letter. It's on our Facebook page. It's on everywhere we could possibly share because we are proud. I'm proud because it took a member and it took the members to stand up together because we told people to come. We explained what it was. We got signatures. We got everything we needed, and everybody that signed that paper stood by us and made sure they were at the meeting that day to voted in, and we got the letter from Hoffa, which I think a lot of us were kind of skeptical about because a lot of things that he's done in the past has been iffy and questionable.
I think a few months ago I had a member. He reached out to me. He works at Working Avenue. He's a Twilight Midnight full timer, and some of the members would come up to him and say, "Hey man, we wonder if all this legwork those guys are doing, if Hoffa, it's just going to be Hoffa."
Yeah.
And I told him, "Hey, listen, there's a backup plan to if he does with the Hoffa way.
Yeah.
So just in case he was going to turn it down, we had a backup plan in place to make sure that that this wasn't going to happen."
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
That's a lot of work that you got to do to get this stuff done. But it's like you got to keep knocking on the door.
Yeah.
I shared a video on 623 Lives Matter a couple days ago, and it actually hit home to me. It's like things that we're doing.
Yeah.
It was a little boy. He was in karate class, and he was trying to break a board with his foot. He kicked one time, couldn't do it. Kicked again, couldn't do it. He started crying, getting all upset, and all his fellow classmates cheered him on. He's crying. His coach is cheering him on. He tries to kick again. He almost falls. He's crying. And then they're all standing there to help him back up when he almost fell, cheering him. The coach is cheering him. Next thing you know, he goes to kick it again. They're like, "Come on, you could do it." And boom, he kicks it and he breaks it. And then everybody runs to him, cheering, standing. They're helping him, celebrate as a team, as unity. I mean, and I feel that that's going to be us because
it is. It's already here.
Yeah.
And then people see that, they feel it, they express it when we talk to them. But we just have to get there.
Yeah.
People have to put their frustrations on paper and make sure that all the stuff that we're doing, that we can actually have the leadership to back it up. You know what I mean? That's the big thing.
And I think that with the people today and how they are, people are very visual.
Yeah.
And with them being visual, they want to see change. And he's got the paper.
Yeah.
He's got the paper. I mean, I would make copies of that and hand that out. Seriously, because people want to see what we are doing.
Yeah.
And when you see this paper and it has Hoffa's signature on it, I mean, you can't get no bigger than the president of every union.
Right.
I mean, when they approve what we're doing, that means we got to be doing something right. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. That's why, like you said, we couldn't make any mistakes. We had to make sure that that he, that when it got to him on his desk, that he would have no choice but to. But again, just in case if he did, we had a backup plan. And so,
Well, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, would you consider this qualifying for experience?
Well, I mean, oh yeah. I mean, anything that we do, anything that we've done has a level of experience to it.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm asking because this sounds to me that it was a lot of work done. Now, this was a lot of work done on your time. It wasn't on anybody else's time.
Yeah.
You did not get paid to do this.
Right.
You wanted to basically get this done for the members. Of course, you're a member yourself, and you want to make sure it was done for the future, And this is going to be in there for future members. Things that's going to happen in the future for the people coming in now, starting at $13 an hour when they become full time. This will be in there.
Yeah.
So it's good. And the thing is that a lot of people got to understand. There's no benefit. The only benefit we get from it is that we get a better contract, or it's in there that we can have a person in there that isn't too I would say corrupted. That's more of a word.
I would say it's not
biased,
connected to the e-board. Or,
it's like almost an unbiased decision.
Right.
That somebody that doesn't really know the ways of the contract negotiations standing in to basically the union. And when you speak to certain people, what happens is they give you a corporate answer.
Right.
When they give you a corporate answer, it's basically, they're beating around the bush so they don't get any type of words twisted, so they don't get blamed.
It's all political.
It's very political, but it's understandable in a way because, I don't want to tell you, for example, if I was to go and say, hey, we're getting our retro tracks tomorrow, you guys will be jumping down my throat if it didn't show up.
Exactly.
So they're not going to say that. They're going to go, it's going to be the first week of July, possibly second week. We don't know.
Right.
But I did hear somebody say that we're going to get them next week.
Well, that's what.
There was an email floating around saying.
Well, chief negotiator, Dennis Taylor, he came out when they was at their national panel, and he told everybody that the first pay period in July is when everybody should receive their retro check. Now I haven't heard. Now you hear all this stuff about now it's going to be the 10th, this, that, and other. But if those guys, if he doesn't say anything any different, if the company's not saying anything different, then we're going to go on the first pay period in July.
Yeah.
Now if we don't get it on the first pay period in July, then it's going to be ugly.
People are going to be mad. Now, I'm going to think about this as a businessman. You know, say I run UPS, okay, and they wanted to be the type of person to hold that retro check an extra week. Here's why. If you own a business and you get the checks early, people are getting their checks Wednesday, okay? So instead of Thursday, people are getting their checks. You're off Thursday because it's the 4th.
Right.
You got to report to work Friday because, first of all, Friday is, some people have to work the day before, day after, and Friday is a report scheduled day. You're telling me you're going to give somebody their check on Wednesday,
right,
and a retro check, which for some people is going to be triple their check, maybe quadruple,
it's going to be,
and you're going to tell me I'm going to take off Thursday and report to work Friday?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are not going to do that, but
they're probably going to hold it until Friday.
They're probably going to hold it till Friday because it's going to be a live check if it does show up. Now, that's going to be the incentive to come to work on Friday.
Now, it did say that if you have direct deposit, it's going to be directly deposited.
Now, that's going to be huge because, you know, I think you're going to see a tumbleweed in UPS on Friday. I mean, just personally, but, you know.
Right. But we'll see. But now, getting back to the bylaw, what that means. Now, what that means is January the 1st, 2020 is when it will officially go into action, right? So that will be the first day that, you know, we'll actually get to have that language working. Is January 1st, 2020. All right, so that's what that means. Now, I had a long-time unity supporter stop me yesterday. We was talking. Now, he doesn't support them anymore, but up until this last contract, you know, he did. Now, we was talking, and he was wondering, he said, hey, listen, how if somehow you guys lose and these guys get back in office, how would they use that bylaw amendment? He was like, man, I don't want them in there because they may pick their own people and don't do it democratically like we plan on doing.
Well, that's how everybody's going to think, because you figure you put it in there that the president of our local gets to pick
how he wants to use it. Right.
Because he can pick the individuals, but the whole thing is, you know, we all know that there's favorites. I mean, it's just how it is. I mean, I hate to tell some of the parents out there, but you have multiple children, you secretly have a favorite.
Oh yeah.
But you don't tell them that.
Right.
But unfortunately, our union tells us that, and they show us. I mean,
they show us.
Oh yeah, hugs, kisses, you know, extra gifts and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the only way to make sure that doesn't happen is not to vote for him, because 2021 is a very, very important year for the international. And
why is that?
And it's ironic that this week, 3 years ago, was the week that we went to the convention.
Oh.
And
got booed?
It wasn't even about that. It was the fact that, you know, our e-board tried to sabotage us from going.
I remember that.
Right. So this week is very, very, this whole bylaw thing and 2021 is very, very important, because we all know they still going to support Hoffa.
Yeah.
And that's why they couldn't go, because they just loyal to him. They're more loyal to him and the company than us, and we pay them, and they keep showing us that. So this week I had a memory that came up on my Facebook, and it showed when we went over there and some stuff. But later on this week, there's some more memories that happened out there that people need to be reminded of. The fact that when we went up to the mic and we spoke on the locals' behalf, our e-board didn't do that. Like you said, that was the members. That was us. We did that.
And this is all member stuff. Like, members are doing it. I mean, you didn't get paid to go, right? You threw out of pocket, didn't you?
No. They the local paid for it.
The local paid for it.
But check this out,
though. They gave you problems. I remember that.
Right. We went out there, man. They didn't have our room and board situated, and I had to call the Eastern Regional Election Supervisor to get him involved.
Yeah.
It was so bad, Romeo, that you probably don't know this part. They actually wanted me to file charges against our e-board.
Who's they?
The people that was out there,
Oh,
like our joint council and stuff.
wow.
Because you can't do stuff like that.
Yeah, because you figure you're out there technically stranded,
Right,
waiting for
right,
them. I
right.
mean, you don't do that you wouldn't do that to your family. I mean, technically, we are a family.
Right.
We are Teamsters. You know, we're supposed to be united together, and then you get all the way out there, and everything's supposed to be.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
We go up there. It's like, you don't have no rooms here. We were like, what you talking about?
Oh no.
No, so we called George, who was the principal officer at the time, Shanahan, Malley. Man, we called every last one of them. Nobody picked up.
Oh, of course they would.
Nobody picked up.
Nobody wants to take that blame.
Right, they didn't pick up until we put it on social media about how they had us out there homeless and stuff. Then that's when everybody, oh man, we just found out about it. They knew, they don't want to did it.
Oh wow.
But again, I digress. There's gonna be more memories about that. It's just ironic that this happened this week, 3 years ago, and there's gonna be more memories on the post.
And just think about that. They ran and they won.
Yeah.
They ran and they won
Yeah,
again, and
yeah.
it's just like, you know, it's one of those things where how many times you're going to have something happen before everybody gets totally disgusted,
Right.
and just says that's enough is enough. And I think that this amendment, you know, this bylaw going through and everything is one of those things. Like, it's showing everybody that it's enough is enough. We need people.
Right.
We need to understand, because like that whole contract negotiation, when we show up, I remember coming to a meeting, and they gave us a basically booklet, you know, and it was like, okay, and they just read over everything, and cool, you're reading it, but it wasn't really explained. And then they tried to. Don't get me wrong, they did try. But you still, if you stood up in the front of the room and just swiveled your head back and forth, you would see all the confused, puzzled faces in that room, because like a lot of people didn't understand, and there were a lot of questions.
A lot of questions.
But they weren't answered properly, and you could see the frustration.
And they couldn't answer.
They couldn't answer it, and the frustration coming from, you know, Shanahan when he was being asked questions and challenged was kind of, you know, upsetting to me being a member, because like I remember I asked a question, and you know, he kept saying, I don't know, you don't understand, you know, you're not understanding. And like, I understand clearly when I ask you something, I'm asking because I want it to be explained, like, so I understand it, you know, wholeheartedly, because when I understand something, I will explain it to you, and I did, and apparently I didn't understand it right.
Right.
Yeah, but then, you know, when he explains it to me, I still don't understand it, and it still comes off the same way.
But this is a question. I don't know if he was there. This is the question that I asked, and I remember it. It was about the whole harassment language.
Yeah.
And it was talking about, you know, getting paid for
I
harassment.
think I remember that. Yeah.
Now, in the contract it says you may get paid.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a definite answer.
No, yeah, it's not.
So when I asked him, well, that's what the contract says. No, when you went to go negotiate it, it was supposed to be a specific amount, and this was supposed to happen, right?
Yeah.
They came back, it may or may not. That's not telling me anything. So when I asked him,
Chuck.
So when I asked him, I said, hey, Shanahan, you are on the national committee. You was there in the room. So why couldn't you get this done? Oh, well, that's what we got. And that's not an answer.
Now, it's like stuff like that, things that are changed, there should be definitely like bullet points and things like that put into it. And that's things that if you're not clear about yourself, how are you going to present it to the people?
Right.
If I don't understand something, I'm not going to stand in front of a room of disgruntled people and give them I don't know. Like, what do you mean you don't know? I mean, you need to know, because
he was there.
You were there.
He was in the main. He told me.
Yeah.
He told all of us. Him and Billy Morris were in the main room.
You're in the main room and you're confused, but yet you don't ask questions. I mean, seriously, you gotta ask questions, because if you are confused about something, that means it's not put into the contract clearly.
Right.
So if you're confused, what do you think the management at UPS is going to be?
They're gonna run over.
They're going to run all around that.
over.
They're going to find loophole after loophole,
Right.
and they're going to keep going around in circles, because guess what? If the shop stewards and the e-board aren't clear on something, you can most guarantee they're clear about it.
They're gonna make. Matter of fact, they're gonna make their own clarification.
Oh yeah.
And they're gonna use it against us.
And they're going to, and it leaves a lot of open-ended the questions.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
you figure, oh, what's that mean? Oh, I don't know. We'll figure it out when it comes to it. No.
Right.
Because if something happens, we file harassment or something, it's going to go into effect.
Right.
And we're going. They said they got to go all the way. If you file what, 2 or more, or two in a year, or 2 in a few years,
right,
or something like
right.
that.
But this is the thing, though. Harassment was the #1 issue.
It's definitely the #1 issue.
So you would think the #1 issue would have clear-cut language on it.
I mean, it's the one thing that kept getting changed the last couple
Right,
contracts.
right.
I
And
mean,
so
because we went from what, no retaliation to a retaliation,
Right.
and now we have this.
So then I said, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and ask HR. So I went to the guy in our building, HR rep.
A member, mind you.
Right. I said, hey, so how is this language going to work? He says, well, we don't know. We gotta sit.
Exactly.
We gotta sit down with labor. So, and this was like a month ago. So I went back to him last week because I had some hearings.
I guarantee he knows everything now.
No, he still don't know.
Really?
They still.
That's
so
amazing.
so they just gonna do whatever they know. Trust me, that they know how they're gonna use it.
Oh yeah.
They know.
Because now, can you explain the revision? Like, what's the new thing? Can you or your interpretation?
Right. Now the new language for harassment says something like this. I'm just paraphrasing, but this is what it says. You know, if the harassment is proven, and depending on how dire it is, you may get up to 3 times your hourly rate paid penalty.
Yes.
You may.
Yeah.
So who determines?
Now, how many hours? I mean, it doesn't even say
doesn't say.
hours.
It doesn't say.
Oh, it's like that's
what I'm saying.
so open-ended.
It doesn't say nothing about hours. It doesn't say who determines how. You know, who gets to say, or you get this or you get that.
And this has to go to panel too.
Right.
Because like
there's
I think
be a sitting arbitrator.
Yeah.
And all this other kind of stuff.
listen, you'll never see that money.
Right.
No, people will be out of office. People will be retired. You'll never see that
Right.
money because
and Romeo,
Yeah.
again, this was the #1 issue across the country.
Yeah.
And look what it did to it.
I mean, listen, when you see triple time, people's eyes light up.
Right.
I mean, even if you're making $15 an hour,
Exactly.
triple time is good money.
Yeah.
So you're thinking like, oh, okay. I mean, then it's going to have a lot of people put harassment in. But if I don't know, a lot of people here put harassment in. So if you put harassment in, they kind of make you feel like you're the victim.
Exactly.
They really do.
They do.
Or not, sometimes not even the victim, like, because technically you're the victim.
But like you don't want you the problem.
Yeah, you're the
Right,
problem.
right.
They make it feel like you're the one harassing.
Right.
Because like they make it feel like you're nitpicking.
Right.
They make it feel like that's what they're supposed to do and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of issues in UPS, and when I put in harassment in, I remember one time. I put a harassment in a long time ago when I was part-time, and I called the union up, and I was really upset because a lot of stuff was going on. And I remember this clear as day. I can't remember the person, but I remember what they said, because I was trying to get a hold of Shanahan because he was my BA. So I was like, all right, he was on vacation, shocker, because they go on a lot of vacations. So I was like, okay. So long story short, I told the guy, what was going on. I said I was being harassed. I was doing this, and the first thing out his mouth, he's like, "What did you do wrong?" Now this is my union telling me this. What did I do wrong? I just explained the whole situation to you. He's like, "Well, you had to do something wrong." He's like, "Because they won't mess with you like that if you didn't do anything wrong."
Man.
I'm like, "Well, I didn't do anything." I was like, "I showed up to work. I was doing my job. He just was picking on me." Next thing you know, he goes, "Well, he's like, well, you need to straighten up, and maybe he'll stop picking on you." I'm like, what? You don't want to hear your union tell you this stuff, especially when you're paying them.
Exactly.
And you call them up distraught. Like I called them up very upset, and they're telling them what was going on. I was even thinking about quitting, and no, well, don't quit because now they're losing my union dues. They don't want me to quit.
Right.
But I want them to help me more than they did.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
And the language back then was still iffy. When you file harassment, they're picking on you. They're not. They're sending you to different places and stuff like that. Right. So now, what do you think they're going to do with triple time?
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. Triple time, they're going to put you in a rocket ship and ship you to another hub.
Right. Now getting back to this bylaw amendment, right? Now, I don't know if you guys remember, they had a contract meeting, the proposal meeting. I never forget, it was on my birthday when they had it. It was August 27th of 2017. And it was on a Sunday, and it was only maybe about 15, 20 people that showed up to this meeting, right? And you could tell right then and there that they did not want to be there. If you looked at the e-board that day, man, they looked like they did not want to be there. And it was the first time that they ever had one of these proposed contract meetings.
That was the one. That was a special off-peak meeting for the.
Right.
Yeah, I think I was there.
Right.
Yeah.
So they went and they was talking about this proposal and their proposal, right? And all they did was just read them.
That's it. It sounds it's so robotic.
And I was like, okay, well, are you guys gonna fight for these or that? So then our supplement comes out, and none of them is in there.
No.
None of them.
None of them.
None of the stuff that the members went to the meeting with or sent in.
Yeah.
None of them were in there. All they told us was, if you don't vote yeah the first time on the supplement.
That was the first time that was proposed too at that meeting, wasn't it?
What's that?
Where if we don't vote it through, we're going to lose our pension.
Yeah.
At that meeting, cause I was there, and people were like, "What?"
Well, no, that one was the meeting where they came back with it. The meeting I'm talking about was
After that.
before that.
Yeah, I'll go before that.
So, but that whole thing was ridiculous. That's another reason why this bylaw amendment is very important. If the pension is in trouble,
Yeah.
then why didn't we know about it until the month before the contract was supposed to expire? They told us the pension was in trouble 1 month before the contract expired. I'm gonna say it again. Our e-board told us the pension was in trouble 1 month before the contract was supposed to expire. That's not leadership. That's not.
They were using that for leverage to get everybody
Political
to
reasons.
vote
Yes.
for the contract.
Right.
So, I mean, seriously. I mean, if I tell you it's in trouble, you're going to lose it. And if not, you're going to lose your raises and this, that, and the third.
I'm not going to wait until the last month.
No.
Because I'm putting you in a bad situation. Because like our members did. Oh man, we got 1 month to vote, and all the contract is up in 1 month. They come back with this. I don't know what to do.
I mean, it sounds like a bad Lifetime movie, honestly. I mean, if you really think about it, and if you really sit back and look about it, like if you don't know, if you're just tuning in and just like, wow, what am I talking about? Listen, if you understand what I'm saying and what we're talking about, it sounds like a corporate puppeteer has strings on our union, and they're just dancing them around. And I mean, how do you do these things? I mean, we're supposed to be working for the people, and you're hiding some important information.
Very important.
And then when that proposal came out for the contract for the local, you're sitting there like this. Everybody was in an uproar.
Right.
I mean, and it passed, but it was a scare tactic.
They used it because if you look
and that's why, because what you just said, they used it for leverage, and that leverage was an added fuel to the fire.
Yes.
And people were like, "I'm not voting for it." And then they're like that, and you're like, "Whoa, well, maybe I gotta vote for it because if I don't vote for it, not only will I lose my pension, I'm gonna lose my raise."
Right.
And because we're going to get raises, but that raise was like what, $4.20 for the 5 years?
Right. Well, they was going to take like
$2.22.
They was going to take
percentages
each year.
And the last year was unknown. They said it could go up, it could go down.
Right.
So we're voting on an unknown amount where they could probably take their whole raise that year. I remember the one thing when you looked at it, they were taking $1.05 to go towards our pensions, and that year we were getting $1. So they're going to take a negative 5 cents from our account, from our hourly wage. And I'm like, we're losing money a whole year.
And if you look at the vote count itself, if you look at the national,
we lost a second for ours, right, for our local one.
We had the national election, we voted it down. The national contract, we voted it down by 115 votes. The supplement passed by 8 votes because, like you said, they used that extortion language to get it. And this is why that bylaw amendment is so very important. That will never happen again. You're gonna know everything from the very beginning. You know what I mean? But this is where it's gonna come back and bite them. Out in the West in PA, right? Same language we had about the pension.
Yeah.
They needed more money for their pension. Their local leaders stood up not once, but twice. Voted it down twice. Not only did they get their money back from the company, they got some improvements on their supplement. Our leaders said, no, we're not going to fight. We're just going to let UPS do what they want to do. And look what happened. So if these guys are back in office, when it comes time to negotiate again, this is what the UPS is gonna do. They're gonna do it again.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't they? They fell for it last time.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about it, it's just a bunch of scare tactics that worked.
Exactly.
I mean, and it's the game that's being played. That's why I said, like, it's almost like we're sitting in our union hall talking to a UPS, member, UPS union, or not even UPS
manager.
UPS manager. I mean, we all have had personal conversations with managers where they belittle you a little bit and they start talking down to you like they think they know everything. And that's how it feels sometimes. It feels like, all right, well, you're not going to do anything, and nothing's going to be done, and you're just going to have to listen to my voice and what I say, and that's it. It's a done deal.
You're right, and that's the attitude that our Igbo has. Now we gotta go to another issue. Now, over the last few years, everybody complains about our president, Billy Morris, and for good reason. I'm not sitting here saying that everybody is not valid in what they're saying about him. But over the last few months, I mean, this guy has been getting killed. I mean, they talk about him on the show. We go to Oregon Avenue. They talk about him, how bad he is. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. At PHL, Air Department hates his guts. But this is the thing that people overlook. This is the part that people overlook, and I don't know why people want to give this guy a pass. The reason why our president does what he does and continue to does what he does and do what he do and just whatever he's doing at the hall, there's one person over top of Billy Morris, and that's Bill Shanahan. Shanahan is the reason why Morris does what he does over these last 3 years. Now, if you want to say George prior to these 3 years, I got you. But for these last 3 years, all the complaints about Morris, that's Shanahan's fault. Shanahan could fire him. There's no reason why I'm gonna keep bringing back issues to the principal officer, and you do nothing about it. You're just as guilty. As
we see, and as we heard, he gives people warning letters. I mean, so if he has the power to do that within the union, give somebody a warning letter, why can't he handle that situation?
Exactly.
Well, the answer is, if he likes you, he likes you. If you don't, he don't. I mean, it's just, let's just call it is what it is.
So all these people, especially a lot of the old timers, they talk bad about Billy Morris, and they forget about Shanahan. No, you can't forget about Shanahan. He's the reason why Morris do what he do. You cannot separate them two. As much as you try, the reason why he does that is because Shanahan. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. Every time Jumbo, like for example, I'm going to put myself out there for a moment. We had a meeting one time, right? And Jumbo, man, he was going crazy in this meeting. He said some things he shouldn't have said to a member. And I actually had to almost pick Jumbo up and take him out of the hall. So guess what happened? Everybody kept calling me. Oh man, you sure you want a guy like that on your ticket? This, that, and the other, man, he's no good. He's this, you gotta do this and you gotta do that. I bet you not one person called Shanahan and said, yo, you gotta get rid of this dude. Listen, we paying Morris. They not paying me.
Yeah. I mean,
you see what I'm saying? You can't be hypocritical.
It's the negativity spun by a lot of people. I mean, if you've been to a meeting within the last year or so, or last couple of years,
right,
or within the last 3 years, you see how Jumbo's treated. I mean, if you don't know, if you don't see it, I mean, I think it's poorly treated, and he's a member.
Exactly.
He's a member of the E-board.
And the members put him there.
Yeah, and the members put him there. It's like, you got him out, put somebody else in there, and, he wasn't treated fairly in there. I mean, he got his chance to get in.
Right.
They gave him that. Okay, fine. But, like, when he speaks, yes, he's passionate. Yeah. Sometimes he gets a little wild up, but it's because he's passionate. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And, like, you got somebody that basically, going back to the bylaw, you got somebody in it, inside, seeing and hearing what's going on, and he's explaining it to us.
It's funny. How you brought that up.
Yeah.
Another issue that we can clear with this bylaw. Now you remember all summer long.
Yeah.
The first meeting in July,
Nothing.
Shanahan got up there and said, now the question was asked to Shanahan, were all members in agreement with this bylaw? In July, Shanahan says,
Oh, that whole thing.
6 out of 7 members were in agreement, Jumbo wasn't. In August, all of a sudden,
7
for 7.
I remember that.
Right, and they made it a big issue all summer long, right?
Yeah.
They made it about Jumbo, did he vote yeah or no, than about telling you about the $6 million that
Yeah,
was short.
exactly.
Which is more important, me telling the members about the $6 million or Jumbo voting yes or no?
Well, we actually know the answer to that.
Yeah?
I mean, we know because we weren't told about that $6 million till later.
Until the month of the contract was supposed to expire. I don't get that.
It's almost like as UPS turns, it's like a little soap opera that's going on.
Right.
I mean, when you think about it, we're going. The important issues should be put out there. You know.
Exactly.
I mean, I see a lot of the videos you post online with the union members and the hall and everything. Somebody sitting up there like, we're not going to take it.
Right,
we're going to stand, turn around. Everybody's clapping. The unit, not an empty chair in the building. Everybody's happy. You know. When you go to our meetings, we have the same few people asking questions. They're all passionate. That's understandable. Then you get a couple new people asking questions, and then you get, kind of a cocky response, because he's a little irritated with the couple people they asked before. And then it goes down. All of a sudden, you got some of the retirees that are very upset because they want a meeting adjourned. Let's start our after things, because they have a little food and drink and whatnot. So it's like, sometimes if nothing's really asked, the meetings are 1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
And you don't want a 1, 2, 3 meeting because like when you have a meeting once a month, you want to try and be informed as much as possible, especially when there's things going on out there. There's things not only just going on in our local, there's things going on in other locals that can happen here that you need to be prepared for. Like when they asked Shanahan, did they know about that the racial stuff that happened out there? He said, I don't even know what's going on. I wasn't, but you're leaving paperwork for it in the back table.
Right.
It's
and it's funny you said that. They just had a decision, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday, in Local 385, where their local is being trustee because of leadership like ours. The members, they went to them, couldn't get their answers, couldn't get their questions answered. A lot of stuff was going on. They were filed grievances and nothing was happening. And then they were threatened to leave the union. So then that's when Hoffa and them stood and they came in and said, we're going to have to trustee this local until we figure it out. Matter of fact, I'm supposed to do an interview with the guy sometime this week. So be on the lookout for that, everybody. He's going to really explain to us, what happened in Local 385. But that's like you said, that could happen here.
Yeah.
People could get so upset and say, look, man, these guys are doing this, they're doing that, and we need some help. They can come in and do that.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to get fed up. I mean, it's only a matter of time. Yeah. I mean, like, for example, if I could segue into this.
Yeah.
All right, so I wanted to ask a few questions, but before that, I wanted to, I think I asked Clarence, I didn't bring this up here, I might have. Right. Now, I know somebody is doing in Quarterstone, like they're starting up, they started up last week and they were in the class. Now, I was wondering, how come that UPS has management, safety reps, they got all kinds of people going in and talk to the new hires, but we don't have any union representation. No shop steward, no BA, and I'm sure they probably do it on other shifts. Now, I cannot verify this, I do not know, it's more of a question, because the first thing people have going on is the union's basically like the management's basically bashing the union, where they're going, all right, well, the union's taking money, they're going to be taking $25 a week for 8 weeks, this, that, and the third. They don't even tell them about the $50 initiation fee. They don't even tell them that. So they're going to all be surprised about that. They don't tell them anything, but they don't tell them the goods about the unions, what the union does, and this, that, and the third. So when the new people come in, they already have hatred for the union because they're taking money. The job's not a great paying job. It's $13 an hour. You're not getting that many hours, so now they're taking all this money from your paycheck. Right now, the union is the devil. So all these people that come in to the job, if they were asked tomorrow to vote down the union, what do you guys think they're going to do?
They're going to vote it down.
They're going to vote it down.
And check this out. This is another thing that the UPS do. I don't know if you know this. Once they meet their 30 days,
Yeah.
they're throwing parties.
Yeah, I seen that.
Not our people.
Oh my, yeah.
It's the union. I mean, it's the UPS throwing this party.
I saw they had in the cafeteria,
Right.
what, 2 weeks ago? They had a seniority party.
Exactly.
They gave them certificates, T-shirts, cake, and I'm sitting there, what's going on? They're like, I made seniority. I said, what? I'm like, I was really baffled.
UPS is wearing our local out.
It's crazy.
And not only in contracts, they beating them socially. They beating them in every aspect.
I mean, when you come out on national TV and about stuff, and you know,
Yeah.
it's just crazy. Like, well, the whole contract stuff saying it passed, and you didn't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
But I have a couple questions. Now, I wrote a list of questions that are simplistic. You know, these questions are questions I feel somebody that's been with the company for a minimum of a year or more should know. Now, I shared a lot of these questions with Hook, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the questions. Hook's going to answer them, all right?
Right.
But I'm going to ask them first, and I want you guys to think about these questions yourself if you know them. Now, I know a lot of people that's been here 15 years that can't answer some of these questions.
Yeah.
I mean, and maybe even more. And it's probably because they don't care. And I mean, that's not right, because I think that we all should care a little bit, because there's some things in that union does, and a lot of things the union does that can help us, besides save our jobs. I mean, that's when you think of a union, you go, oh, well, you got backbone, you know,
Right.
they'll help you save your job. But I wanted to ask a question, so here we go. Who is your BA? Who is your BA?
Right.
Now, if you are thinking about this question and you're looking like, you know, with a puzzled look on your face, I'm going to go to question 2.
Well, let me tell them what a BA is.
Well, I was going to ask them, what do you know what a BA stands for?
Oh, okay, well.
Do you know what a BA stands for? So here you go, Hook. Answer the question.
Now, a BA is a business agent for the union. Some of them are officers, some of them aren't. Like, for example, in our BA, we have one BA that's not an officer, Ron Kamak.
Yes.
Now, Ron Kamak is the BA for the drivers at the airport, and I think a couple of centers over at Oregon Avenue.
Yes.
Now, another business agent is Joni McGovern. She has preload and the ramp and cartage.
Yeah, tri-cartage.
And all them.
Yep.
So, and then the midnight business agent is Izzy, Twilight, PHL, and what else he has? I think he has a ramp, midnight ramp.
Yeah, he helps Joni out with that
Right.
stuff.
And then now Shanahan, I think he's a BA for. What's up, man? I think Shanahan's the BA for at Oregon Avenue for the night, and maybe Twi.
Yeah. So BA stands for business agent.
Right.
So if you didn't know that, and you've been here for more than a year, you know, I can be honest with you, I didn't know that for a long time as well.
Right.
There's a lot of these questions, like I said, I was here for a long time before I was able to answer myself.
Right.
Third question, do you know where the union hall is? Now that's a simple question. I mean, now with Google, it's so easy to
Right,
Google
right.
stuff. But like, I can tell you right now, I got it in my GPS stuff. You know, so where's it at, Hook?
Bro, man, first we have to know that they're in a union.
Yeah.
We have to know what the number is, right? Let's
Yeah.
put this. I can tell you, when we were after the campaign trail, we asked, "Did you know you're part of the union? You know what number it is?"
Right.
And I was
That's
like,
what
half
we
the
know.
people, we said half, right? Half did not know.
Didn't know.
We're getting dues taken out. The question is, if they don't notice they're not getting something taken out, are the dues really getting taken out? That's what the question is. Because if they took money out of my check, I would know. I would
Right.
Does a tree fall in the woods? Does it make a noise if nobody's
Yeah.
around? I mean, it's
Right.
one of those things.
No. It's real simple. When you look at your paycheck, you see, hey, wait, there's a deduction here. What's this? I should know it's a union, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so like robotified. You know, it's very robotic, because you like they're taking dues every week, and people go, okay, well that's normal.
Right.
So when they get into the job, people they're taking $25 a week for 8 weeks, and then it goes from 25 to whatever, maybe like $5, whatever it may be. So when it goes to that, people are like, oh well, it's better than 25, and they're just supposed to take that. So where's the union hall? Huh?
4369 Richmond Street.
There we go.
Richmond Street.
So then we got, do you know when the next meeting is? Now, I can tell you I know, because I'll be there. So, do you know?
Right.
Now, if you don't know, do you know when the last meeting was?
Right.
So the next meeting is going to be
The third Saturday in September.
third Saturday in September. And what was the last one?
The third Saturday in May.
So basically, it's every third Saturday of the month from what January to
September to May.
September to May, and then they go on what vacation time break.
They suspend the meetings for the summer months because usually nobody shows up or they don't have any issues to really bring to the membership. Because normally during the regular business day, they don't bring up any issues up anyway.
Right.
So about who's asking questions, not you get informed about what's going on or what the standards are, educating the membership, which is a big deal. Because let's be honest, our membership don't even know there's a contract.
Yeah,
They don't.
this is what I was
They
telling
don't know
you.
the union. They're like, oh, well, this is what you get me, okay. Oh, wait, these are my hours, okay, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Some people didn't even really check their hours, as we learned. They realized they're missing 20 minutes a week.
Yeah,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So when you break it down, like I'm doing the questions that I think that people should know that's been here a year or more. So when we get down to the next question, did you know that the union can help you with a lawyer if you need it? Now, lawyer, say you go through family issues, maybe divorce or
Specific.
whatever specific. So
So the legal service plan that you talk about, I want to reiterate this, very specific.
Yes.
You cannot use the legal service plan other than for workman's comp issues against UPS. It's a big deal. I talked to Hooker about this and I explained what my concern is for this. It's time to end that legal contribution from UPS, the 6 cents, I think it is an hour, right? 6 cents an hour for
You sick, John.
the 8 hours with the
What's up, John? Good to
full-timers, right?
see you, man.
6 hours, 6 cents an hour for the first 4 hours of a part-timer, right?
that's a good one.
Very important. Abolish it.
Yeah.
Because the reality is that UPS is getting away with stuff every day.
Yeah.
And the legal service plan will help us help to combat UPS and help us put the necessary
what you're saying is
legal
that-
help that we need to help the business agents. Because let's be honest, we know that the Shanahan does work, right? We don't like the way that he works, right? We don't like the way Billy Morris works. We don't like the way
just
some
got
other
off of
people
that.
work, right?
Yeah.
That's something, right? But they work, right? But they need help. And they're not going to put on more business agents to go do the job. So you have to come up with a solution. The solution is to change the legal service plan, make an assessment to the dues for the $4 amount that it would be max, right? $4 a week, I don't know. It's it's really minimal amount of money.
It
in
is.
the grand scheme of things. It's very minimal for a full timer, even minimal for a part timer to
Part-timer.
get the legal coverage,
Yeah,
whatever
right.
they need. And they probably need it the most, part timers.
Yeah, I mean,
Right? With UPS, they need it the most.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's too much stuff going on.
Yeah, there's too much stuff going on. So the union helps us with some type of lawyer. If you get stuck and you're in the union and you need some type of help, you call the union hall, stuff like that.
Driver's license.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of stuff that we know.
Divorce.
Yeah. Bankruptcy, all kinds of stuff. Landlords. So I guarantee a lot of people did not know that, and they're trying to saying I can't afford it, and this, that, and the third. Now you're saying there's a fee or is it free?
It's free.
It's
the first
free.
30 hours are free.
First 30 hours are free. Now, I guarantee you guys didn't know that. I know I didn't know that. And when I found out, I was like, I couldn't believe it. Because I was like, I'm over there saying I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that when I had some trouble.
Right.
And all of a sudden, boom, I had
That's
under
why-
my nose the whole time.
Right.
That could have been explained to the members. And this is the point I'm trying to make.
Well,
A lot of these
when
things
you're a
aren't
new
explained.
member, there should be a letter going out explaining to you. the
And
services.
there's not. There's no letter, there's
You
no
can't,
nothing.
you can't go
There's
to
a
the
card that
website
you used to
or
get.
anything.
Mine was signed by Opaleski. You might have got one signed by Merritt.
Yeah.
I guarantee you didn't get one signed by George.
No.
Right? You never got it in the mail. Right?
No.
You never even knew a union card exists.
No, I could be honest with you here right now. I could tell you I was here probably over 10 years before I knew some of the members of our e-board. And it's a long time because I didn't know. I mean, seriously, I just working. I come to work every day, did my job, and went home. And I didn't really know a lot. I mean, seriously.
Listen, the only way I knew that there was a union and a bulletin board because I paid attention. I see the seniority list.
Yeah.
I had friends that worked here, so they knew there was.
I knew
there.
through people
But if
that
I
I
didn't,
was with.
If I didn't know people that had worked at UPS
Right.
before,
Yeah.
I don't think I would have known either.
No.
I would have never known that there's a seniority list.
No.
That there's a bid sheet that you could sign.
The
I would've
dovetail
never
list.
known
Right,
any of
right.
that.
The dovetail
I
list
always
is
paid
huge.
attention. So when I saw the shop store election go up, I signed it. I said, "Let me go run." Right? No one else wanted the job, so I got it.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was.
It's how
And
bad
still
it
kinda
is.
that way. It's that way today.
Not a lot of people want to run for shop steward either. Now here's a big one right here, and I know a lot of people that don't know this. So I'm speaking to new hires now. People that are just starting or just made seniority. Did you know that after you make the union, so after you hit seniority, after you're done your union dues, after you pay your union dues, so after your 8 weeks of $25 a week, but you will be hit with the initiation fee of $50. Now they don't tell you that, but you will be. Now after that, did you know you could just take a course at the union hall? It's 20 minutes. And you will receive that $50 initiation fee back.
Right.
$50, you would get that money back. And don't get it right at the hall. They will send you a check. But you just take the course and you get it back. Now this is huge because not a lot of people know about it.
Right.
And all you have to do is show up to a meeting. They pull you aside after the meeting. They go over to the little course.
Tell them they got to do it within a year.
Within a year. So within a year. So there you go. And I guarantee you a lot of people don't know that. I mean, everybody sees it and they eat it because they go, oh, it's automatic.
You only have 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year.
That's what it says in the bylaws.
Yeah. So
I never really read it because I'm way past that point in my life.
But you got
the
some
fact
people
that it's 1 year when most people don't even realize they recognize they're inside the union is ridiculous. And it should be open for as long as you're there.
Yeah.
It's fact. What happens to the $50? Is it put in a side account?
No, they keep it.
No, they keep it.
Yeah, they keep it. Where's it? Like, how's the funds? Like for me, like if I took that $50 separate, that $50 would be like, all right, it's for education first. We'll keep it off to the side.
Exactly.
If I knew I'm not giving it back.
Well, you see, it's written off.
The account and put it over there.
Yeah, it's written off when they give it back, but it's not written on when it goes in.
Right.
So we don't know that.
So who knows what they do with the money when nobody comes and gets it?
Exactly. So this is one thing too. Now you mentioned earlier we had a moment of silence for a bunch of members that had some losses recently. So did you know if you had a severe loss in your family, the union would give you a customized Bible? Like my father passed away, and when my father passed away, to the end of 2016 going into 2017, I actually, one of my friends, he's a shop steward. He came to me and he said, "Yo, did you know that you could get a customized Bible from the union?" I looked at him puzzled as heck. I don't know. I was like, that's beyond me. So he was like, no. He's like, I want to go and I'm going to mention it and get it for you. And I got it and I gave it to my mother. And it had my dad's name and all that stuff on there. And it was really nice. So that right there is huge to me because I didn't know. And it was nice. I mean, it's nice to have something like that. Right. You know, I know a lot of people have different religions and stuff like that. So this is something that is good.
Would they keep a Quran out, Torah, if that happened in those particular religions, it's not to discriminate against people for their religious beliefs?
That I do not know. Probably not because it's so cookie cutter.
Only person that probably know what a Torah is probably Shanahan. You know what I'm saying? So he probably is.
I know what it is.
I mean, on the board. I know you know what it is.
So did you know the union has trips to amusement parks and Phillies games? Now that's something that the union does. Now a lot of people are probably like, huh? But they have annual stuff like that. I know to Clemington Park, they go, they rope it off, and they have food and stuff like that there. And the amusement parks, they get like a bulk deal and stuff like that for the Phillies games. I mean, that's I think that's a. I mean, it's a good thing to have. I mean, that's where some of our money goes. I mean, we should take advantage of it.
We should.
The Christmas parties. Did you know the union has a Christmas party? Do you know where the union has the Christmas party? They send out little cards. I do get them once in a while because I remember a few years I wasn't getting them, and then I finally made I showed up to it, and it's actually nice. It's really nice for the kids. If you have kids, I recommend going. You have a Santa, they give you pictures. If we all have, anybody has kids that took pictures with Santa, we know it's pricey. They'll give you, they'll give you a picture per kid, and they'll give them a little toy plushie and stuff like that. And it's it's catered. They have a DJ, and they give stuff to the kids. It's very good for the kids. Now for the members, you're there for the kids.
It's not about the kids anyway.
So that's what I mean. If you don't know about that, it's nice. They have three different times or 2 different times to go. Two. It's a morning and they have a breakfast for the morning and then the lunch for the night.
Afternoon.
Did you know that you can rent the union hall for your event?
Now that's that's a lot of people. They get upset about that because they think when they go down there and try to rent it, you're going to get it this kind of price.
Yeah.
And you don't. You pay you pay the maximum price if you were a member
Exactly.
or not. And a lot of members, they get upset with that. I remember one guy, he called me and say, look, I'm already paying you all this money in dues. Now you may pay all this money for the hall,
Yeah.
and then pay for the security.
Yep.
And they're like, man, it's
Security,
pricey. Yeah.
cleanup, bartending, all that stuff, man.
So,
they have you.
Bartender, you gotta pay for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the bartender
But
is
The
automatic.
actual space should probably like half off or whatever.
Right, they should give them a
They
discount.
should give you a
Yeah.
discount,
Yeah.
but I don't know the prices per se.
It's
I
like
think
$650 or something.
$650, yeah, with all the fees, I guess. I mean, it's normal. It's normal. But then again, it's like
Well, the 650 covers the bartender, right?
the security,
The security.
and the fees
And for the rental.
and the rentals, yeah.
For the whole thing. And all you need is got to supply the food,
Yeah.
the alcohol,
Yeah.
the drinks, whatever.
So,
It's not bad.
but it's an option that some people might not know they have.
Right.
And this is the thing, like, it's not put out there.
Right.
Did you know that you could purchase union merchandise at the hall? Now, this is something that people always see, like people walking around with like a union jacket on or a union shirt and stuff like that. And it's not because they were given it. Some people are,
Right.
or some people purchase it.
Yeah.
And when you ask, if you ever ask a business agent for something, they tell you to come down, and if they have it, you can buy it.
Or they'll bring it down to the.
Or
to
to
the-
bring it
yeah.
down, you pay for it and stuff like that.
All right.
So,
Well, good people, we're going to pause for station identification and everything. So don't forget, go to the station website, spcr.org. Make a donation. Doesn't matter how small, doesn't matter how big. If you like the show or the other shows that we do on WOAM 92.9 South Philadelphia Community Radio, make sure you look out for us so we can keep doing this show. All right, we'll be right back.
how do you know when you got to take a break?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock? Okay. Now, no, I'm saying, like, whatever you guys want to add on now, because that's all I have.
Right.
So, if you want to add on after
There
that?
we go. Yesterday, remember Shanahan, right?
Right.
To handle the pastry agreements that I had, put that in perspective, right? He understood the concept before we started, right?
That's always a good thing.
Right. And now, after reading all the materials, he firmly understands the concept and understands that the company is wrong with that amount.
Now, did he say that?
Well, but
Did you make a gif out of
But
it?
this was done last year though, right?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
That's
And
okay.
there's other dates, as I told him, there's other dates that are affected in the process because the way the federal law works, right, is that your overtime is based off your weekly schedule. Say, if you miss one day in a week, it doesn't matter. You're still going to get the overtime every day because that's what your schedule dictates.
Right.
You'll still get overtime on Saturday, whatever.
Right.
So, you're telling me it took him 2 years to understand something?
Well, it's election year too.
Oh, he's going to understand
Now,
everything.
It took 6 hours to review the information. He technically get it done.
Okay.
All right, good people, we're back.
It wasn't like it was
We're
like
back.
something you go.
Thank you guys for listening to WOOM 92.9 South Philadelphia Community Radio. Give you another edition of the 623 Lives Matter show. You got myself,
Romeo here, James Romeo.
and Espo over there and chilling in the cut.
Espo.
All right, now listen, guys, we got 13 weeks. 13 weeks left until
13
That's
weeks.
it. Now, I came up with an idea that we could try to get more participants in voting. Now, I got to call, what's this guy named? Peter or Richard? I keep the Marx brothers. They're not brothers, but I call them Marx. It's Richard. Peter Marx.
Peter Marks.
Peter Marx. I got to call him to make sure that we can do this if we decide to do this. Now, everybody knows I'm an avid Viking fan. I hate the Eagles, especially after that trash game here a couple years ago for the NFC Championship game. So, but for the last couple years, the Vikings and Eagles have already, they make sure they put them against each other. So, ironically, it just so happens that this year they're going to play the game during the ballots going to be out. So, my idea was that if we can have a dunk tank, right, and I'll be in the tank. But the only way you get an opportunity to try to get the best Viking fan in the world in the water, you gotta get the ballot, bring the ballot, get a ball, try to get me in the tank.
See, the dunk tank comes with 3 balls, right? So you basically get 3 chances, and you have to set a price for the 3 chances, and then get back in line. I mean, and I guess the funds will go towards our campaign.
Well, oh yeah, but the first ball would be you got to bring the ballot.
Ooh.
If you don't bring the ballot, then you can't participate. You bring the ballot, get one free chance. Then the other two, cost. But
Okay.
at least you get one. But the only way to participate at all, you gotta bring the ballot. You bring the ballot, you get a chance.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
think it'll be
a
good.
Viking fan with his Viking helmet, with the little horn in his hand blowing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we gotta do something, man, to try to build up the participation, because we gotta get people to vote. We gotta get them to vote, because talking to people, looking in the past numbers, people just don't vote. I think the last vote for the election was like 926 out of about 3,000 people. Now we got more members, but I bet you we're gonna have the same amount of people voting.
Just think, if people voted, we could turn down the last contract, and if more people voted, they would have had to go back to the table. They would have had to.
Because the majority of active members are full-time, right? They vote. It's facts. Part-timers usually don't vote. For one, as we talked about before, they see it as they're not going to be here within a year, and that's evident by the seniority list.
Right.
All throughout the buildings, at Morgan Avenue.
Well, the turnover is horrendous.
At PHL, I'm pretty sure down at Air Service Center, it's the same way. There's only 3 people that ever stay long. Right? Most of it, 1 year and gone.
Yeah.
Or less. Right?
Or they're going over to management now because of the race.
You have to show people there's a vested interest to vote. That voting matters.
Yeah, right.
Well, that bylaw is proof.
Yeah, well,
the bottom's one thing, right?
Right.
What you have to look is what 804 did, right? 804 voted for change, and they got change, and they got a lot of people all around.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
They got Article 22 jobs in rates.
Right.
22 car wash jobs, I think it is, right? Big deal. We were just talking before the show. The guy went into the building, found somebody doing clerk work, got that job bidded, right? That's what needs to happen here.
Exactly.
Go in, find who's working full time, get the bid posted.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because over
that's the change that needs to happen.
Right.
Therefore, people realize there's a system here.
Right.
It's working. Instead of 17 years to wait, maybe it goes down to 10 because we got a lot of backlog.
But there's a lot of part-timers right now, especially that I know at PHL over the last 5 months. They're doing doubles every day.
Yes, they haven't stopped since peak.
And that's what I'm saying.
And you figure...
You have 400 plus full-time inside employees at the PHL facility, right? You're bound to have people cover for that. Being off, right? On vacation. Well, they're going to get that 30 and 90, and someone's going to qualify as another full-timer in the mix, and they're going to be a cover full-timer. The guys inside don't have cover jobs like the drivers and the feeder guys do.
Right.
It's a big deal.
But
The
I
company's
think,
allowed to use the system by not having that in there.
yeah, we'll definitely have to check the record to make sure those jobs get bidded and posted, because it's a lot of them. It's a whole lot of them. It's a whole lot of them. Especially with the pension shortages and all this other kind of stuff. Those jobs.
I think it's a bigger issue because
Exactly.
I'm going through the whole pension process myself and looking and reviewing and waiting for the pension board to get back to me to see exactly what the discrepancies are. And I've noticed some things that are kind of like a little kooky. Got to go back and take a deeper look, you know what I mean? But like I told Bill, I said, I come to work every day. So if I miss 12 days a year, that would be a shocker to me unpaid. You know what I mean? That's a lot of days unpaid for me.
Yeah.
That's one a month. I don't think I ever averaged that in my entire UPS career.
Right.
So somewhere along I noticed an error. The question is how much or how often that occurs.
Right.
So, like the people doing doubles, it's amazing that, I remember when I was part-time on Twilight, and I was only allowed to do doubles during day sort because that's what they had.
Right.
Now it's basically a free-for-all now.
Yeah,
People are doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
So I know an employee that worked midnight, and he was tired of the hours. Like, he's like, I don't get that many hours. So he transferred to Twilight, okay? But I didn't know this because he's still working midnight. So he hasn't missed a beat, here every day, doing his job, and I didn't find out until I was like, oh, so he's transferred. Oh, yeah. Then let me know. I was like, what? I was like, that's amazing. I said, because you're making double what you're making, so it was kind of a great move for your behalf,
Yeah.
but then again, you should be getting full-time.
So there's another issue with this. doubling that goes on, okay? And I talked about this with Joe McGovern. The company likes to put you in as a new time card when they give you a break, right? Because, you know, if the meal period language is only for full-time employees, right? Which I don't believe, not one bit, right? Because we have part-timers then we're going to have to take lunches for the longest time, right? It becomes an issue when you get to like the 7th time card of the week. Is that supposed to be double time?
It's supposed to.
Right? That'd be the 7th punch.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That's an issue that, you know, Joe and them have to figure out and address, because if you're going to start playing games with the time and a half after 5, right? On a direct route, instead of saying, hey, listen, I'm going for my lunch, then somebody's got to say something, right?
Right.
Because before there was no full-time shift, per se, down the airport. Now there are. So when you work a double, you really working a full-time shift? Right? Yo, you coming from full-time with this job today? Right? You have to know before you start. There's no communication as to what goes on in that from UPS's standpoint, and they should be communicating that to you before you start the day.
Right.
See, I think that it's not clear on that whole thing making a job after so many hours. Like when I asked somebody, they told me you had to work, what's it, 9 weeks or 90 days or
30 days.
30 days?
90-day period.
30 days
is continuous
Right.
service.
So when I asked the VA about this, he said that you have to have 40 hours or more a week in those 30 days to be able to qualify. Now,
I would say this, right? And I will say this, there's a problem with that, right? Because the language allows for full-timers to have less than a daily guarantee. Once you begin the process of full-time seniority, right, the days in between there can be considered workforce reduction days because they say they don't have enough work for you, as they would a seniority full-time employee, right? It only matters if you work, and that is what becomes the issue. Did you do 30 full-time days in that 90-day period? Because the other days you'd have to say we're a workforce reduction because somehow they didn't have enough work for you that day. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they're going to have to back credit you the time
Exactly.
of your seniority and the rates included and all to the first day you worked. So the days in between have to count once you start the process to full-time seniority. And that is what becomes the issue, Romeo. You guys probably down there were getting screwed over for years because you can't sit there and designate someone part-time and then say, okay, it's okay to do a double and not consider it a full-time day when that's what a full-timer getting 8-hour guarantee.
Right.
It's the same thing.
and I also believe that it's not being done a lot because there's a intimidation and a fear of failure.
I wouldn't say failure.
Well, because you figure, let's put it this way, I'm working 40 hours a week and I'm usually getting 20 or even 17. Okay, so if I lose that overtime, I'm going to go back to that 17. And that's the fear right there.
Yeah.
Because like if I challenge them, like listen, they're going to be like, yeah, all right, you challenge them, you lose.
Right.
Not only will you lose that overtime, you probably will not be considered for it again. And that's huge because you think about
You'll
it.
never know what goes on.
You'll never know. You won't be in the loop, even if you're a good worker or not. You're just trying
exactly.
to. You're making that money. That's why you're doing overtime anyway.
And that's where strong
Leadership comes in.
Business agents and alternates come into play.
Yes, that's where that
Because
comes
the
in.
business agent, if he's handling regular issues, it's the purpose of the business agent and the shop steward himself to train the alternate to look at these things and pass on the keeping of the records, right?
Yeah.
This is where you got to transfer that information through the education process so
Exactly.
everybody kind of gets what the main focus of the goal is, right?
Yeah.
You can't just have somebody come in and say, I want to be a shop steward because, you know,
Right.
I feel I can do good for the membership. First, you got to attend some union meetings. You got to kind of understand. You should kind of read the collective bargaining agreement so you kind of got some idea what you're talking about beforehand. I'm not saying you got to be like quoted like Article 56. I don't even think I can do that. You know what I'm saying? But you kind of want to know a little bit so you know where to look real fast.
Right.
Yeah, you want to be able to
Education is the key.
See, education is very huge, but I think what also is huge is communication.
Yeah.
Because if you don't communicate it with people and they don't communicate with you, it's already off. You know, so if you just step to the union and go, hey, I've been working double 6X, you know, it's over 30 days, whatever may have you. I wanted my full-time job. Well, first of all, you didn't really explain it properly. And
I will explain it further.
yeah.
Jim Merritt knew this was a problem, okay? Jim Merritt put it in there that the company had to notify the stewards when doubles occurred, okay?
Yeah.
I can't tell you the times that I searched jobs, I never got one day where they said they were working doubles.
Me neither. Never.
Any steward within a local, I don't think gets that information.
So
okay?
that's basically
you know
failure
why?
of junk.
Because he knew that if you counted the days and the stewards did their job, all right, got to post it UPS, let's put it into play.
Exactly.
That was the genius of what he did. The problem is effectively getting everybody on board with it, and then not worry about you losing the next election because you're going to get voted out because someone said you cut my time.
Right.
I'm gonna badmouth you,
Yep.
high heaven, because you did the right thing
Right.
and protected the seniority.
And
Yeah.
that's where, like you said, we just talked about education is very important. If I don't know my seniority rights and I don't know what seniority means, then I'm going to be upset because now I'm going to lose 17 hours a week. And all
There's
this
no
other kind of stuff.
transparency to the process.
There
so
isn't.
people lose faith in it and
Exactly.
say, I'm going to take my chances with UPS and see if they'll give me these hours all the time, right? Even at a reduced rate, because I don't want to gamble
Right.
with the union not following up or doing their job because they're not
There you
going to put
go.
the resources in to do the
Exactly.
job.
Exactly.
And that's what the question is. Like I will give credit. I went with Shanahan, worked, we sat down together, he got the full understanding agreements that I had for the pay shortage, which the time that it took was 6 hours, right? The resources that it took for him to do one thing, and that's before he even wrote the complaint, that's just reviewing the information, right? It's the amount of resources that happen, right?
Right.
So, for instance, your business agents, when you have them, okay, right, might fall behind. How do you tend to address that situation? Differently than, say, Bill Shanahan did. I gave Bill Shanahan some important suggestions that I would follow, without a doubt, because I think it's very important in this particular case. That the case can be easily won by asserting a matter of law, as what the statute states, that it needs to be calculated this way, and you need to pony up that plus the penalty immediately, will be held liable for the criminal charges under the Pennsylvania Wage and Collection Act of 1961. There needs to be some accountability to the process, and someone has to be accountable for it. You can't have your business agent underneath you flounder the case, right? Then come back and tell the grievance when it goes down the panel, oh, well, we were in dispute about it all this time. Because the grievance filed for the wage under Article 17 and the penalty, right? He didn't file for them guys to go talk about it and say, oh, well, we're still talking about it. Hey, listen, if it's short, you owe the money.
That's it.
It's not my problem that UPS made a mistake, and I brought this to Shanahan's attention. He agreed. It's not a fault of your own, right? It's nothing I did differently. I gave him the information. I printed it out nice and neat. I gave him the federal regulation. I quoted Article 54. This is how it works. Daily guarantee calculator. So I can earn, and whatever monies I can earn in Article 54. But that's what guarantees the rate beyond the daily guaranteed hours, whatever it may be. And I brought to attention different situations that might happen, especially with Article 23s, working on Sunday where they get this 8-hour double time guarantee that's in the actual local agreement. And how, because you have that, you can do one of two things. You either have to get past your daily normal guarantee, you get paid triple time for the hours worked, right? Because you're now past that daily guarantee. Or that in itself constitutes the first day of your work week must be an 8-hour daily guarantee. Must. In other words, you guys don't have a set, like down we have 5/8s. If either guys have 4/10s or 5/8s, right? They don't have these mix and match days where it's 4 and 4/9,
10,
yeah,
3/10s,
3/10s,
2/5s,
2/5s, whatever the crazy combino is to get 40 hours, right? You guys don't have that. It was about making the full-time positions for the work that's available. Right? And they're supposed, UPS is supposed to schedule it around, because UPS 1A could really technically do it pretty easily if they automated the system. Right? Because you guys can go to lunch just like we do. Say, all right, we're going to wait. The stuff's going to dispatch out. And we're going to shove it in trucks. And it doesn't matter if you mix air and ground together anymore because the system will separate the air and the ground. Right? And that's what it comes down to.
It's going to get crazy later on when they do all automatives. If the rumors are true with the air hub and they're extending.
It's
and
coming.
yeah, so it's
coming.
inevitable
It's
with that second floor going on.
Yeah.
But I had a question for
Second
you.
floor.
Well, no, you know that mezzanine they built up in the air hood, or you don't even know.
I'm
Yeah,
not-
you're gonna
Yeah, they built a whole nother
Yeah,
level
they
on
built a
top.
whole
So
second.
it covers all the way over the secondaries.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
It's
Or it covers over top of small
Like you know how small store and
small,
primary
small
was?
sort all the way up to the west gate.
All the way up.
Off to the west.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they built
Yeah.
that whole thing, and within the last 2 years they've been working on it. Yeah, so it's like what 90% done now.
And that's all for smalls that come and generate
It was-
small packages that are going
Yeah,
to happen
'cause
during
it
Christmas time
extends to-
that they need.
From over there by the ramp to
Oh, I
small
got
sort,
it.
Yeah.
small sort all the way
Yeah,
to
so
the west
left,
gate.
right, front, back. Yeah, so.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
I had a question with you on seniority. Now, I see during Facebook posts that we have a lot of frustrated members, and a lot of them talk about seniority. And the feeling is that seniority is not important. How important is it?
It's the most important thing, especially from worker to worker. It's what protects you from me and me from the Espo,
Yeah.
Espo from me. You know, I
Actually,
don't
from
violate him.
discrimination in the workplace.
Right,
That's
right.
what it does.
Right.
It gives UPS a guidelines. Here's your seniority. Here's your thing. It relies that UPS has to disqualify that person from working extra hours, whatever the job may be, whatever reason they can conjure up, and let the union go fight it.
Yeah, and,
Right.
and it gives you
It gives you a sense of order.
Yeah.
But
Right.
again, it's the transparency in the process.
and the
We
communication.
don't have that.
Just like
We don't
Jumbo
have
brought out, there's a need for workers, right? When it comes to the preload. The preload scrambles at the last minute, right? There's no advanced planning by UPS to say, hey, listen, we're going to get 10% more than we need, and then we'll go send the guys home that want to go home, wherever they may be, right? Which would make sense, right? Let them go home as they may, right?
Right.
No harm, no foul, because they wanted to go home. There is a penalty involved, but you waive it because the
Yeah.
guy wanted to go home. No
right.
one's going to go seek it.
Right, exactly.
No one's seeking. There's probably some loss to the pension fund that might occur for some full-timers that might opt to go home, right?
Right.
Because they're being displaced by a part-timer of their own choice.
That's the key. That they did that.
Oh, their own
They
choice.
did that, right.
So they hurt the fund.
Right.
Right.
Not the company.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's how it goes. I mean, when you break it down, it's communication again. Because I remember being part-time and I was losing hours. Like change was inevitable. You know, they're switching people. I was starting at 5 o'clock, and I was twilight, and they were like, you know, I was working 5 to 9 or 5 to 10. I was getting almost 5 hours, and I was setting up areas, and all of a sudden, somebody with more seniority came on, and they took my time. And that's how it goes. You know, they work in the area, they have more seniority, they wanted
I'm
the time.
glad you said that, right, Romeo?
Yeah.
Because there's a big rift.
Yeah.
Dental Organ Avenue is a particular issue, and has always been for years. Dental Organ Avenue, as you know, we have a full-time crew.
Yeah.
There are people that load package cars, and they load them for hours on them.
Yeah.
So the start times sometimes get a little wobbled around because, oh, this guy works on box line 4, but this guy works on box line 6. He'll come in at 1:30, but they tell the guy who has more seniority on box line 4, oh, you can only come in at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Not switch it around based upon the time available as what happens at the airport, right?
Yeah.
The standard somehow magically changes.
Yeah, and that also goes about communication, like I'm saying too, because I didn't know that, you know, if I had more seniority, I can do that. So when I found this out, I took it upon myself to approach the manager and let him know, listen, this person's in unload. I can unload. I'm capable of unloading. I am a package handler. That's what we all are. I was like, listen, all right, so I'm going to, this person comes in at 5. I would like to come in at 5 and invoke my seniority. The person looked at me like I have 3 heads. Oh, you really want to do that? I'm like, well, yeah, because I want my time.
Right.
So they were like, well, I'll see what I can do. That was what the person said to me. I was like, cool. Well, I said, while you see what you're doing, I'm going to go up to my steward and I'm going to put paperwork in. Well, the person was walking away when I said that. They did a turnaround, came up to me. they're like, well, if this is what you want, you'll be there tomorrow at 5, and you better not be late.
All
and
of a
I
sudden,
wasn't.
magically.
Right.
Yeah, so I had to invoke my seniority. So
But
the whole
that's
thing
what the
is,
steward's supposed
yeah,
to get the list of doubles for to make sure seniority.
it wasn't even doubles. It was just a regular hourly.
The calling list has to be available. The seniority is to be able to get
That call
on the
list is
I know, it's bad, man.
Listen,
It's-
I've seen,
it's a
times
magical
down
call
Oregon
list.
Avenue, right?
Magical.
Where
Right.
part-timers have taken half-hour lunches, while full-timers have taken hour lunches. You know, they've had guys, like part-timers, kind of work through their lunch magically with no one kind of noticing or saying something. You know what I mean? Because a part-timer, think about it, he's there to make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's going to do it any way he can. He'll cut the system short just to make sure he brings home an extra 2.5 hours a week.
Especially when you're
I
bringing up
remember when
peanuts.
Corey Gordon wanted me to go work for a half-hour day unpaid. I said, no way. I said, dude, we'll get wrap late every day. I was like, I don't care. I'm not going to sit there and sacrifice myself every day for you.
No.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
They're not going to do it for you.
I'm giving you all I can give. If you see there's a problem, obviously I need more time. And you're not going to give it to me because the pulls were heavy. You know what I mean? I was doing the IRS for all the smalls and twos and sort through them all, right?
Right.
When I left it one day, they got a lot of mistress and they understood why I had to go back there and why it took so long.
Right.
Yeah, they understand when you're not there, but when you're there, they're totally confused.
Yes.
You know, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? I mean,
Why, hold it. I never went to my niece, right? He told me, you don't have to 6-side check a box, you know. I said, yeah, I do, because your double labels on all these packages go to Oregon Avenue preload trailer on Oregon Avenue down there, right? No, you don't have to. No, I'll do it. It's okay. Sorry, I got it. Right?
Yeah.
And he kind of left. But that's the kind of thing they want you to cut corners, so you put yourself in jeopardy.
Right. Fired or
fired,
injured.
No.
yeah. And as soon as stuff like that happens, they're jumping down your throat.
Yep.
Because I remember when I was on preload and I was loading the one truck, the package car, and it was a mail truck. What happened was this particular truck got a lot of packages for the post office. A lot. And it was so much that you actually had to keep an eye on it because they got a lot of bags and they got a lot of packages that were loose. So you actually had to kind of maneuver things. So this is stuff they don't teach you, by the way. You have to figure it out with experience. And you also have to have a communication line between your driver. That's how I loaded. I talked to my driver, do you like this, do you like that? Loaders don't do that. A lot of loaders don't care. You know, it is what it is. But when I was doing this, you know, a lot of management would come up to me and see that I'm quote unquote trashed and I got stuff stacked outside. But the stuff I had stacked outside was going in last. And it's because there's a lot of post office and I set it up for my driver. So my driver can have an easy day. Now, a lot of people don't do that because, you know, they just want to get in and get out. Now, I take off. The person that was loading after me, oh my God.
Yeah.
Everything's so literal because it's rear door right.
Yep.
So they just put everything rear door right and they put it up the middle because it was filled. And then all of a sudden, the stuff that I had out there was nothing in comparison to what the other person had out there. And then when I come back to work, they go, oh, what's going on? You know, this is that's what you were doing, and it's a lot cleaner at the end of the day, this and the third. So they take more notice when you're not there than when you're there, and they always jump down your throat. So.
All right, good people, we're gonna get ready and wrap up here. We got about 5 more minutes. We just want you guys to make sure that get prepared to vote. 13 weeks, that's all we got left.
13 weeks, and it's not long if you think about it.
No, it's not. It really isn't. You guys are going to be seeing us. Don't forget July 5th. We're going to be at Oregon Avenue. You get to meet the team, ask questions. We'll give you the answers, get our flyers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's going to be the home stretch. We need everybody to participate. We're trying to come up with a way to make sure we get more participation with the dunk tank.
We got ideas coming, guys. I mean, seriously, we just need you guys to come along.
That's all we need is you guys to participate. You'll see a change. The company, all that stuff that they do, they're not going to be able to do, and they know it. You guys know it. You just got to get the opportunity to prove it. That's where you guys come in. You showed us already one time before this year with the bylaw amendment came out. Showed up. We need you guys again to come out and show up again.
Absolutely. Change does start with us. It also starts with you.
Right, it does. So again, you know, make sure you guys come out, and when you see us at these gates, when you see us, you know, in the hub, make sure you come up to us. whatever questions you may have, we'll answer them.
And if we don't got the answers, we will find them and make sure we backtrack it and make sure it's correct.
Yeah.
Because I don't like giving out false information. If I don't know anything, I check it twice.
Yeah, you
It's kind of like dealing with home maintenance.
Yeah. So you guys gotta vote. 13 weeks. That's all we have left. That's all we got left. And we also gotta stop blaming Morris, for everything. He's the president. He's the principal officer. I'm not saying that the blame shouldn't go on him, because it should. But there's a God that allows him to do all those things. For some reason, we like to try to separate that. There was no separation. Our principal officer is Bill Shanahan. Shanahan is the one that allowed this behavior. It's going to be the same way when we get elected. I know you guys are going to have some issues, and if I don't correct it, then I'm going to be at fault as the person who's doing it. And that's the same situation here with Shanahan and Morris. All right, so we got to stop doing it. I know you guys love Shanahan. I do too. He's not a bad person, but as a leader, like they always say, heavy is the head that wears the crown. You know what I mean? And he wears the crown right now. So when things like this go on, he should be held responsible for it, especially if it's a continuous situation, which it is.
I would be happy to have a debate. Like if they would do a debate instead of like doing this back and forth stuff like that, but they won't do it.
They won't do that. On one of our shows that we do from time to time downtown on Labor Justice Radio, one of those guys asked me would they come down, and I said they're not going to. I mean, we could just do it at the hall, but they won't do it.
Yeah.
Even the meeting that we had with the ex-board member and the board member when they was trying to hook up with us, I broke it down to them, fact, number by number, and they just sit there looking at me. Because we were telling the truth. They're not gonna have no debate with us.
That's proper politics, though, because you think about it. If I got everybody in the room going back and forth, and the members are asking questions,
right?
I mean, that gives you a clear cut of like who you're going to vote for.
And you kind of understand we don't have to do that because they already proved that they don't care. So we're gonna get out of here, guys. We appreciate you. We love you. 13 weeks.
13 weeks, guys.
13 weeks. Don't
Take
forget,
care.
we love you guys. All right. 623 Lives Matter.